Have you ever kind of wondered if you'll be around to see the end of the world? I mean, it's a wild thought, right? Well, if you believe some of the latest headlines, you might not have to wait very long. But is this for real? Or is it just the latest chapter in a story that's, well, as old as time? Let's dive in and really unpack the long history of doomsday predictions.
And there it is, the claim. The world will end in 2026. Super simple, right? It's so direct. There's no maybe, no wiggle room, just a date. And man, that's the kind of thing that just grabs your attention and refuses to let go.
But that's the real question, isn't it? As soon as you hear something like that, you probably get this little feeling of déjà vu. Because if you take even a quick look back through history, you realize that people predicting the end of everything, well, it's not exactly a new thing. It's practically a human tradition. And this right here is the absolute key. It doesn't matter if you're talking about ancient civilizations or our hyper-connected digital age, every single era has had its own prophets of doom. It's this theme that just keeps popping up in the human story, a pattern that repeats itself over and over. So this 2026 thing, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's just the newest entry in a very, very long list.
Okay, so to really get what's happening now, we have to look back at what's happened before. Let's go on a quick tour through some of the most famous and, spoiler alert, famously wrong end-of-the-world predictions. Think of it like a highlight reel of failed prophecies, a cautionary tale written across the centuries. So here are some of the heavy hitters we're going to talk about. We'll start way back in 1844 with a religious group called the Millerites. Then we'll jump forward to 1910 when a comet caused a literal global panic. After that, we hit the modern era with the Y2K bug, and we'll wrap up with the one we all remember, the Mayan calendar scare in 2012. Each one totally captivated the world at the time, and man, each one has quite a story. All right, first up, the Millerites. So their leader, a guy named William Miller, did all these complex calculations based on the Bible and came up with a very precise date for the end of the world. Thousands of his followers truly believed him. They sold their homes, their farms, everything, and gathered on hilltops to wait. And when the day came and went with nothing happening, well, the feeling was so crushing that they actually gave it a name, the Great Disappointment. Now, this one is fascinating because it's a case of science getting completely twisted. Halley's Comet was making its return in 1910, and astronomers discovered that its tail contained a toxic gas, a fact. But the media absolutely ran with it, and pretty soon people all over the globe were convinced that Earth was going to pass through this poisonous tail and all life would be wiped out. People were buying comet pills and sealing their windows. It was chaos.
I'm sure some of you remember this one, the Y2K bug. The fear was that because computers only use 2 digits for the year, when the clock struck midnight and 99 rolled over to 00, they would all think it was 1900. The theory was that planes would fall out of the sky, power grids would shut down, and society as we knew it would just collapse. It was a purely man-made technological apocalypse, but the panic felt just as real as any ancient prophecy.
And of course, 2012. Here's the thing that got lost in all the hype. The ancient Maya never, ever said the world was going to end. For them, it was just the end of a really, really long calendar cycle. It's kind of like this. When your wall calendar gets to December 31st, you don't actually think your house is going to explode at midnight, right? No, you just go out and buy a new calendar for the new year. That's all it was.
So we've seen these different examples from different eras, but when you look closely, you start to see a pattern. It's almost like they're all following the same script, whether it's from the 1800s or the 2000s. There's a formula to it. Let's call it the prophecy playbook.
And here's basically how that playbook works. Step 1. Somebody claims to have discovered some secret knowledge, maybe from an ancient text or a divine vision. Step 2, and this is crucial, they give a specific date. That's what creates the urgency. Step 3, followers are told they have to prepare, which often means doing drastic things. Then, step 4, the date comes and goes and nothing. But it doesn't end there. Step 5 is the rationalization. Oh, we miscalculated. Or it was a test of your faith, something to explain away the failure and keep the whole thing going. And this is where we can really see how the 2026 claim stacks up. It fits the pattern, but with a very modern twist. See, the older prophecies were usually based on these complex interpretations of texts, and they had a dedicated group of followers. The 2026 prediction, it's just a raw, bold claim. And thanks to social media, it doesn't need a dedicated group. It can spread around the world in an afternoon. It's way lighter on the details, but the basic structure, it's all there. It's just waiting for its date.
Okay, so what does all this mean for us? What's the big takeaway from this long, strange trip through failed prophecies? It really all boils down to one simple but powerful idea. Context is everything.
So why do we keep falling for this stuff? Well, honestly, it's because these predictions are psychologically brilliant. They tap right into our deepest fears about the unknown, about the future. The world can feel incredibly complex and chaotic, right? A doomsday prophecy, even a terrifying one, offers a simple answer. It creates a sense of order, a feeling that someone, somewhere, knows what's going on. And in today's world, a simple, sensational claim travels a whole lot faster than a complicated, nuanced truth.
Now, let me be really clear about something. This is not about being cynical or dismissing the very real problems our world is facing. Not at all. This is about being empowered. Knowing this historical pattern gives us a tool, a framework for critical thinking. It lets us see a new claim, like the one about 2026, and instead of just reacting with fear, we can take a step back and ask, wait a minute, how does this fit the pattern I've seen before?
And really, that's the whole point. This isn't just about debunking 2026 because, you know what? There's going to be another prediction after that one and another one after that. It's a cycle. But now that we know the playbook, the secret knowledge, the specific date, the inevitable excuses, we're so much better equipped to see these things for what they are. So the next time you hear someone say the end is nigh, you'll know exactly what questions to start asking.